Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. For those who are new here, my name is Katarina. I have for you today another crafting video. I'm going to be making a very simple Halloween card. And I'm doing a little bit of different type of video, sort of a real-time crafting, so no voiceover. I'm going to be talking as I'm filming. I'm not going to be doing this all the time. I just have to see how it goes, and if you like this type of video, give this video a thumbs up. First of all the products I will be using were purchased by me, and I'm using what I have in my stash. This is not about the product, this is about the idea for the card, and what I want to say is just use what you have in your stash. But if you would like to see the list of products, I will have it listed over on my blog. So, as I said, this card is very simple and I'm starting with a quick and easy background. I'm going to be watercoloring stripes. I have orange paint here and I have a flat brush, which is easy to make straight lines. And my cardstock is not taped. It's a watercolor cardstock from Canson. I did not tape it because I cut it smaller than the card base and I don't want to have the border on the cardstock, on the finished product. I also have here water, clean water, and a paper towel on the side, and I'm just gonna paint the stripes. Originally I wanted to use, what is it called, slimline card, the long card, but because I don't really celebrate, I don't see the need for Halloween cards, except they are fun to make. I just didn't want to waste that cardstock. But if you are truly giving someone a Halloween card, you can create a slimline card. That would be nice. So, and if you would like to have the stripes to be straight, I would recommend using what is it called, like a washi tape to tape it off and then paint like that. You can also use distress inks and so on. But really, if you are celebrating Halloween, because I'm in Europe, here it's not really like a tradition except of parties. But if you celebrate Halloween and give Halloween card, what do you write there? I can imagine Halloween card as invitations, but it's really funny that not really, I'm not sure if I ever seen a manufacturer, stamp makers creating invitation stamps. It's always about birthdays and other stuff, but people make invitations, and I don't think I have a single sentiment stamp that says that is for invitations. It's interesting, isn't it? So, this is a last stripe. One more. So it's nice. I think I'm gonna make it more intense at the top. I actually was struggling which orange I want to use, because I also have the Winsor & Newton watercolors, and I have also paints from Lidl, which I haven't opened yet because they are in tubes and I need to squeeze them out into a palette, and I'm lazy. Anyways, pretty good. I really like the background. It's exactly what I wanted, and I will let it dry. So the next step is to work on the greeting. I will be stamping the greeting, but if you have dies, you can use those. And the stamp set I'm going to be using is a real oldie. I'm going to be using this stamp set by Clearly Besotted. I think I bought it about 7 years ago. And we will be also die cutting the greeting because I have coordinating dies, which is pretty cool. I don't die cut that often, so I can do it for this one. It's pretty simple card. Also, I'm sorry that I'm using older stamp set, but these cards are supposed to be like inspiration, where you go through your stash and see if you have something similar. It inspires creativity, in my opinion. But let's stamp. I did use this stamp set before on my old blog, and I never made a video because that was way before I made videos. So, and I'm using the same cardstock as the watercolor cardstock, because when there are, what do you call it, like gaps in the stamp, I prefer this cardstock to be the same color, same shade as the background. And I'm guessing I'm going to be needing to stamp multiple times. Oh yes. So the stamping wasn't going very well since I was using a watercolor cardstock, but then I thought, since I'm using a watercolor cardstock, yes, it has a rougher texture, but if you flip it, it's much smoother. And that's what I did. I had to restamp about 3 times, which is not much compared to the front side of the cardstock. Depending on the stamp set, you could use a black marker to fill the gaps like I did on my Halloween card last week. Here it would be quite difficult. I also die cut it off camera, so let's continue. So here is the die cut greeting, and remember these dies when they were making them without like the cutout? This was difficult to position. So I have here a few different types of foam tapes, not sure which I'm going to be using. Here is the watercolor background, which is dry, and hopefully it's not too dirty. And yeah, this will look pretty cool. I'm thinking about first adhering it onto a card base. And for that, I just use a normal like sellotape. Actually, this is a sellotape. You can obviously use a foam tape, but I stopped doing that, or I rarely do this these days. I rarely do this these days because I have to post all of my cards are going abroad. Okay, maybe not all, most of them. And I just don't want to pay more. To be honest, they cannot even deliver normal cards, like non-bulky ones. I sent recently 2 cards to Germany. None of them arrived. Like how difficult it is. The post office here in Sweden, that's where I live, is ridiculous. They do not deliver parcels to your door, which to me is like weird. Let me know in the comments if your post office brings stuff to your door. Like normal letters, they do bring, but parcels you have to pick up at the post office, which is really annoying, especially if you're at home all the time. Well, all the time, almost all the time. Rather inconvenient. For the card base, I'm going to be using a card base from Craft Cardstock. And it's going to be like this. As you can see here, this is how I cut my watercolor cardstock. It's slightly smaller. This is because this is the one from Canson, and that cardstock is not true full sheet of paper, like A4, or if you're in the US, I guess 11 by 8.5 inch. Is it the correct size? It is slightly shorter because it has the coil, and when you take it off the block, it's not true full sheet of paper, A4 or the other one, which is pretty annoying, but I don't want to waste it. That's why I just cut it into 4 panels that are shorter or smaller. So here I think I'm going to be using this one. I think I got this one from a Euro store, something like that. I have never actually used the big sellotape, no, big foam tape that everybody uses, the 3M, because it's just so expensive. What do you think? Do you guys use the big one that every card maker uses? Or you buy something different? Let me know in the comments. And what do you buy? Did you find a bargain? Because I think this one from a Euro store is pretty good priced. I did not bring upstairs my, what is it called? My tweezers that I usually use for these. So it's going very well. Very tedious. Okay, I will not bore you. And let's flip to me adhering it to the card base. So I adhered all the foam tape and let's press it onto the, sometimes my English is really horrible. Okay, I'm not a native speaker, but hey. So here, and we are not finished yet because there are other things I fished out from my stash, like these, what is it, enamel dots? I guess so. Let's move this to the side. I'm also going to be using a glue because sometimes these guys do not hold. We'll see. And let's press it on it. I also have green ones in this type. You know what's funny? I usually have a trial run with these cards, but this time I did not, because I did not want to do unnecessary cards, because as I said, I'm not celebrating Halloween. So where else? I'm not really good with these. There are a few YouTubers that are so good at adhering these guys. The enamel dots, I mean, these guys. Oh, please hold. Oh, it's working. But yeah, I had difficulties adhering these little suckers, but before I show you the finished card, let me show you what happened. I had problems squeezing out this glue, and so I thought I open it and maybe something will come out. Yeah, a whole blob came out. Luckily, there was no major disaster. So let me show you the finished card. Here is the finished card. I think it looks really fun, and as I said, it's very simple to make. At first I wasn't sure about the two different shades of the orange, but then if they were the same, I think that would look pretty weird. So that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this type of a video. If you did, I would really appreciate if you gave this video a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, just ask in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.